disrupts are enough. You have to create, and it has to be better than what you were disrupting. That's a lot to do with an optimistic attitude after what we've been through. So, get ready. Thanks for tuning in to watch the sunset with me here in Sardinia, Italy. I have been here for about a month, but I am in a new location, and when I start sharing some footage about that location, it is just so ironic how I was led to this location, because I needed a solution. I have a lot of drama, just like a lot of us have a lot of drama, but I was going between Airbnbs, and it's summer holiday here, so it's high season, and every Airbnb owner has to make their money during the months of July and August. And I remember that because I owned an Airbnb. I was actually a superhost in Costa Rica before I lost my property, and it might be coming back, but it's not coming back the way it needs to come back. It's just been a whole line of deceit, and everybody just muxing it up, and all the laws being corrupt, and lawyers that are sometimes well-meaning, but they're working in the way that the old way, where we kind of push agendas and we just do it at whatever cost, but no one wins. So if it comes back, I don't know how it's going to come back to me. But I keep joking because I have paid for so many mattresses, and yet I'm sleeping in an abandoned building, and I'm alternating between a smelly bed that has clean sheets and a clean pillow, or a hammock. And I actually like the hammock better. My biggest complaint about the hammock is that I can't see the stars. But I did wake up with petals all over me. It was kind of cool. So yeah, I think we have about 30 minutes. I don't even know if you can see the sun. It seems too bright on the screen, but it's starting to come down. So this place is abandoned. I'm sitting on a roof. There's one story down in a 2 or 3 story place, depending. And it's free. Because it's been empty since 2019. There's no running water, there's no electricity. I was guided here. I was guided here. I never thought I'd be this person. I'm sure many people that know me are saying the same thing. But the thing is, we all change, hopefully for the better. And the world needs to change, because my stories are not for the faint of heart. And I may not tell them all. It has not gotten me to a good place. The only reason I'm alive is for keeping my mouth shut and knowing to sideswipe. And I was shown the enemy in dream state at times. And kind of intrinsically with intuition, I sideswiped. There's no mistakes when you're in this mode. I sideswiped. It's probably accurate. I sidestepped some pretty big piles of shit that were laid out. And I'm not going to say gracefully, because I stepped in equally big piles of shit, left and right. But I avoided the big one. And if I ever get my 3D life back in order to a way that's, able to influence and impact the way it had been, there are reasons to go back and find people that have not been able to step through the shit. There are people that are no longer here, that have perished wrongfully. And there are people that have been set up to take the fall for others for money. It's just sickening. It really is sickening. And I did give it up. I passed it upwards because I couldn't have solved it. It was designed to take somebody down, and very effectively. And there were a few signs along the way, imagine something happens and the normal course of action you would do XYZ. Imagine something happens bad and you go to XYZ and they already know about it, but they know the other side of the story. And they're already on the other side of the story. And these are the people that you're turning to. And the minute that I realized that they had already been contacted and they already had an opinion, I could have doubled down, which is that's how this goes, you know? There's a book on this, of how to ruin somebody. And it's very real. So I leaned into the turn, and you don't turn to the people that already know and already have a side, right? You go somewhere else. And that might be a long road to nowhere, but you'll survive better than fighting the battle that was designed to take you out. And it was. I want you to understand this. I am alive because I was given the knowledge and the intuition gift and shown the enemies in dream state. And you know, whatever you call it, whatever it means to you, there is something bigger than us. And I am here as a correction. I really believe that now. Because after the 5th or 6th time, that's the only conclusion that makes sense. I am here to shake it. Not stir it, shake it. And that might be at my expense sometimes, but I kind of call it on loan to the future us. I loaned everything that I have to the future world and us. I really did. And I know that the last 8 years or so largely have not been about me. It's been about my kind of like being the right reflection and the right instigator or situation correcting, like something, like I'm not going to say righteous even, but because there have been times I can say no, it was self-preservation, or it was not righteous, or it was defense or whatever. It hasn't always been for the highest, but it's more the highest than not. And the psychopaths that come for people who are doing right, who are spiritually awake or have gifts or whatever, you can't let them win, because we will not be in a good place if their agendas win. And I think I described the whole thing as guided. And the thing is, it may not have been guided by the highest at all times, but it was always with the right flavor of the highest, because I am anything but dark. And people have gotten me wrong, and there have been just agendas to really just, you can't set things up that aren't based in reality. And people that just go along with stuff without doing their own research, they're unfortunately being impacted. And I actually feel bad for them more than I should. Because none of them, this is the thing. Have you tried to make it better? So many of them, no, they haven't. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But they all suck. They're all not part of the new world. Because when you see somebody suffering, when you see an injustice done, now more than ever, you need to stand up on their behalf, because there are so many people against them, potentially, especially if they're awake, if they're gifted, or if they're a target. Or, you'll see it. It's not just a simple bully anymore. It's not about being bullied. It's about an agenda. And that agenda varies. But it's not pure. It is the battle. It's the battle between light and dark. It really is. And not all things dark are bad. And we need both. But there's a line. And it has been crossed over and over with me and others. And I walk away unscathed, unbothered. But there's a correction that comes with that. But the justice is something so much bigger than I could have ever imagined and I could have ever done on my own. I'd like to say this is the sun setting on the old world, and we'll have a new world tomorrow. And I have hope. I still have hope through all of this, which I didn't. For a good 10 years, I did not have a lot of hope, and I used sarcasm to get by. But I have hope, and I still maintain hope, because so many of us are just not, we're not gone, you know, like after 3 murder attempts that I know of, we're not gone. I mean, there's also a battle going on for the mind, and my last post was all about kind of like how we've been shut down, and you know, I credit my wake up really to not being in the US because of the chemicals in the water and the food. And I'm not saying I enjoy McDonald's, but even McDonald's, I think the recipe's different. I don't know that, but I imagine the recipe's different. Conspiracy and facts are aligning more and more than ever. And the fact is that you don't have to believe either to know that what's happened is not good. Okay. I could go down 3 different rabbit holes right now, but they're all just, the theme is not good. They are not getting us where we need to be. And whether something happened as an agenda or happenstance, the result was division of us and putting us against others that maybe don't look exactly like us or don't live like us, or whatever the case might be. It might be color, it might be religious beliefs, it might be orientation, it might be gender, it might be anything like that. But there are people that make a business out of putting people against each other that otherwise wouldn't be against each other. And how many years of war, how many decades of war, how many lives have to be lost, how much money has to be spent, ding, 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 for us to try something different and reject everything that is part of what hasn't been working, that has been dividing. It's not really this election thing. I'm over it. I wish we could all just put in early ballots and be done with it now. I just need to say, yeah, it matters, but it's more morale that it matters for, I think. You want to know that the person in charge is not corrupt. That's the foundation at this point. And a lot of you will not believe when I say that the popular ones, the established ones, the ones that you've liked in the past, have been installed, groomed, paid for, by a group that is really powerful. And that same group does not want us to succeed. And it's bigger than the US. It's the whole world. And if it doesn't work, and if it isn't successful, know that there are equally disparate, horrific ideas about how to resolve it. Like, if they lose, that's not a win, okay? It's going to be hard. And it's fine. It's fine. Because then we already won. We already won. But are they going to drag us through the dirt? How far? How far are they going to drag us through the dirt? Are they going to live without plumbing for a year? Or a month? How far are they going to go? To silence. To change the agenda. To try to get the agenda back. To try to put us against each other again. To create wars. To create imbalances that don't need to be there. Like trade. How about we just do like a 2% tax on import-export regardless of what country, and screw all the other policies? How about we get rid of NATO that is 70 years old and is freaking biased? If you look at their website, it's like, it was founded to be against the Soviet Union. Well, the Soviet Union's gone, so why isn't NATO gone? It is all about them versus us. Them versus us. Let's create little groups and make them all fight against each other. The rest of us just want to sit and watch the damn sunset. And have a flushing toilet. Not gonna lie. I love the bidet, and the flushing toilet is great. And if I come back to the US, I would install a urinal, a bidet, and a toilet in my home. It just makes sense. And it's not about the climate. It's not about water conserving or anything like that. It's just like, there are good parts. There are good ideas everywhere. And our minds are not open to them. They aren't. It takes somebody that has been in Europe for 10 years to go back to the US and be like, you know what, I had a bidet in Spain and Italy, and it just was cleaner. These are the bidets of our lives. If you want to sit in your own shit, that's fine. There are churches everywhere. There are just churches in this whole country as a church. And then there's one in the train station too. Can't we get extra Johns?